Thanks a lot, David, and thanks, John, for all those excellent insights into the copper market. It's a great segue into Terra Metals and our Dante project. So we're a copper-focused exploration company. We're drilling for copper right now. We're drilling an expansive 10,000-meter RC drilling program. As you can probably tell by the high-vis shirt and the background here, I am on site at the moment. So I'm up here at the Dante project. We've got quite a big team on site at the moment. We're drilling right now, and we've got about 2,000 meters of drilling left to go. We've put out about 7,000 meters of that drilling at the lab at the moment. We've just received our first lot of assays back, and that is the first week of drilling those samples from, we've been drilling for 2 months, so we've received the assays back from the first week of drilling, and over 90% of the assays are left to come back from that drilling. And we've hit magmatic, copper sulphides, and precious metal system immediately on the first hole. So we're really excited by what that means, and I'm here to share a little bit more about the scale of the opportunity that we're seeing here on the ground and what everyone's got to look forward to. Next slide, please. So, as I said, we're in the West Musgraves. We are drilling for copper. We're about 15 k's from Nebo Babel, and I might just skip to the next slide, please. So I'll talk more about the region in a minute, but here's a snapshot of the company for people who don't know us very well. We've got almost 300 million shares on issue. We've got a market cap of around $15 million. Now, our largest shareholder is the Tribeca Natural Resources Fund, so it's quite rare for a junior company to have an institutional shareholder with such a large portion of the company at this stage. So we're very happy with that. We've got a large amount of our top 20 and top 10 shareholders own a huge portion of the company. We've got almost 10% across our directors and management of the company, so it's tightly held. Everyone in this company is very incentivized to see the projects deliver discoveries and resources. So that's what we're focused on, and that's why we're out here. Next slide, please. So we've got an excellent board. I mentioned Tribeca Natural Resources Fund is our largest shareholder. We have Ben Cleary on the board, who's part of Tribeca. Also Hayden Smith, who's formerly Tribeca. Ian Middlemas is our chairman, who is quite well known for being the chairman of multiple ASX listed companies, formerly an executive with Normandy. And we have an excellent technical team. We have Scott Halley, who's our chief geochemist. He's very well known in the industry for being a really great geochemist and a creative thinker. He's agreed to come and work on this project with us, specifically for Dante project, because he's excited by what he's seeing here. And we've got Wolfgang Mayer, who's a specialist consultant and expert in layered mafic, ultramafic intrusive systems, which is what we're drilling into at the moment. Next slide, please. So here's the Dante project. Next slide. We are located, as I said, in the West Musgrave region. We're about 10-15 kilometers from Nebo Babel. So Nebo Babel is a 400 million ton magmatic nickel, copper, and platinum group element in sulphide deposit just down the road from us. It's in development at the moment. BHP are building it. It's a $1.7 billion mine build. We've also got the Sakooth magmatic copper deposit just near us. It's also got some palladium, gold, and some nickel in it. It's about 160 million tons. And then we have the Manchego deposit just off to the northeast west of us. So you can see that we're the blue there, Dante project. We're landlocked by BHP. So not many juniors can say that. It's obvious that it's a highly prospective region. It's the land of giants. We're surrounded by major deposits, and that's exactly what we're drilling for in our project. We've got tens of kilometers of outcropping high-grade mineralization, which has never had systematic exploration conducted. We're drilling it right now, and we're hitting copper immediately. So we're very excited by what we're doing right now. Next slide, please. So this is just some research that was published by the WA School of Mines in collaboration with the Centre for Exploration Targeting and the Geological Survey of West Australia. And what they did was plugged in all of the elements that they believe produce these big nickel and copper sulfide deposits, gold deposits, and they spat out a prospectivity ranking over the entire West Musgrave region. They also mapped the major fault, which is thought to be highly responsible for most of the large deposits here as the plumbing system. And what you can see is that Lachlan-Mundrobilla fault runs directly through the Dante project, through the center, and the Dante project has ranked out of that research as the highest ranked in the West Musgraves for copper and nickel, and also the highest ranked prospectivity for platinum, palladium, and gold. Next slide, please. So this is our focus area right now. The project is much larger than this, but we are focusing on the low-hanging fruit and the things that are sticking out of the ground. Our 4 key prospects at the moment are the Cronus intrusion, which is a large magmatic mineralized copper, gold, palladium in sulfide intrusion. It's had some historical drilling. We've just undertaken some drill holes ourselves. We've completed 15 holes. 5 of those are back. All of those holes hit copper and palladium and gold mineralization essentially all the way through every single hole. So we've proven there immediately, proven concept there that it's a big mineralized system. And now our work is to go, the purpose of that shallow RC drilling is to inform the deeper diamond drilling to get down to the point where we believe the higher grade economic mineralization is likely to be. So we're excited to get that EIS funded drilling happening soon. We've just been awarded $220,000 from the West Australian government to drill those holes, which is excellent. Means they see the opportunity here as well. And it's great to have that validation from the Geological Survey of West Australia, now backed up by our own drilling. We've also got the Creus Reef. So we've got 3 reefs on the project. They outcrop in this area for 23 kilometers. We believe strongly, if you look at all those magnetic lines around those reefs, we believe that there are multiple other reefs under a little bit of cover. So that's some exploration upside for us, but we don't really need exploration upside right now. 23 kilometers is a strike length of outcropping mineralization that most human beings can't even fathom. And until you come out here and walk it or fly over it in a helicopter, it's hard to understand. But we've just drilled 3 kilometers of Creus, and we've just released the first couple of holes from one drill fence, and we've hit magmatic copper sulphides, platinum, palladium, with a high-grade vanadium titanium byproduct in a stratiform mineralization immediately. So that is an excellent result for the very beginning. 90% of the assays are left to come, as I said, so we're pretty excited to see the rest of those come through. We've also got 2 other reefs. We've drilled the Hyperion Reef after Creus. So 7 kilometers of that reef has been drilled now, 20 holes. All of the holes from Hyperion are out at the lab at the moment and a pending assay. And we're looking forward to getting those back. We've hit the prospective reef on every single drill fence we've drilled so far over 10 kilometers. And very soon, we're about to take the rig from Cronus today or tomorrow down to the Oceanus Reef and drill our 3rd reef. So yes, there is more. The Oceanus Reef is 5 or 6 kilometers long in itself. And collectively, it is an absolutely huge strike. Next slide, please. So here's Creus. So we've just put the initial results out yesterday for the first 3 holes. As you can see, there are 10 more holes to come back there, covering 3 kilometers of strike. As I said, we've hit the reef on every single drill fence that we've drilled out there, and we've seen evidence for multiple reefs. So not just one reef. Often in these systems, you only get one, but we're seeing multiple. And what's exciting about this is it has a lot of similarities to a few different deposits globally. I mean, if you look at the Nebo-Babel resource to the south of us, the magmatic copper, nickel, PGE deposit that BHP are building right now, the copper grade in sulfide there is about 0.33%. And the precious metals are less than 0.1 gram per ton. We're already seeing higher grades than that in our first couple of holes in this stratiform deposit, which sticks out of the ground. And as I said, the beauty of stratiform deposits is they keep going and going and going. That's why, they tend to produce large tonnages. So, but on top of that, we're seeing more than one reef. So once you duplicate these reefs and you stack them on top of each other, well, that obviously increases the scale of the opportunity significantly. So immediately we're hitting, as I said there, good grade of copper. We're getting precious metals. We're seeing copper up to 0.9, almost 1%, which is pretty excellent for the first reconnaissance drill fence drilled. But as I said, since then, we continue to see that along strike. So we're looking forward to putting the rest of those results out. This assay is outstanding for another 5,000 meters of drilling along the reefs, covering 10 kilometers. Next slide, please. So this again is the Dante Reef. So this is just zooming out now to show the Creus and Hyperion reefs. You can see there the drilling that's been undertaken at Hyperion. As I said, 3 kilometers at Creus plus 7 kilometers at Hyperion. All of those assays left outstanding now. We've hit the prospective reef on all of the drill fences that we've drilled so far. And we expect to receive assays now every couple of weeks for the next couple of months. And the Oceanus Reef is still to come. Next slide, please. So this is Cronus. We're really excited here out at Cronus. We've been able to achieve what we'd really hoped to do with the first couple of holes in the shallow RC drilling. So we're drilling the shallow portions of this out. There's been 5 historical drill holes drilled across this. All of them hit hundreds of meters of disseminated copper sulfides and gold and palladium mineralization. And we've put our first shallow fence across the intrusion and proven that mineralization does extend along strike. So the entire intrusion appears to be mineralized. So what we say about this and what our consulting geochemists say about this intrusion is that it has a massive copper budget. It also has a massive gold budget. So when you get a 7-kilometer long magmatic intrusion that appears the entire thing has had metal enrichment in sulfide, there's an extremely high likelihood that there's an area, a zone, a transition point in the evolution of that intrusion where you're going to get high-grade magmatic sulfide mineralization. And the purpose of our shallow RC drilling here is to collect the evidence and determine the vectors so we know where to put that diamond drill hole to get down to that point. And so we've got the right team on this interpreting the data to take a look at that. And that's what we'll be using our EIS-funded diamond drilling funds for a little bit later this year. So you can see some of the intercepts there, over 130 meters of low-grade copper and 60, 70 meters of gold. But there might be a couple of meters break. If you put them all together, we're talking mineralized from the top to bottom of hole. So essentially from 0 meters all the way down. So there's no point in this intrusion that we've seen that's not mineralized yet, which is an excellent sign for an extremely fertile system. Next slide, please. So it's not just what's sticking out of the ground and what we're focusing on right now. Dante project is a pipeline of targets that will continue to yield excellent drill targets over years and years to come. So we're naturally, as a junior company, drilling the things which are sticking out of the ground right now. But you can see from the EM targets there that we have a huge pipeline of targets, and we're going to be progressing these and developing the priority ones of these to drilling in the near future. Next slide, please. So I'll just kind of finish up here, and we can look at the rest of it another time. But we're doing really good things on the ground here. We live in the community. We have the town on the tenement. We've got an airstrip here, and we are working with the community every day. We're employing people, and we're having really good engagement. So we're providing educational and sporting equipment, and that relationship is with the Ngundarra people we value greatly, and we're very thankful for the Ngundarra people and the council for that relationship, which we continue to nurture and value. And thank you very much.
Thanks, Thomas. Great presentation. A couple of really good questions here. First, you did mention Tribeca's Natural Resources Fund being on the register with a 15% or so interest. What was the I suppose the attraction, but what was the reasoning, or when did they join the register, and what do they bring, and what are they focused on?
Yeah, so Tribeca have been with the former company for some time from a previous life, but certainly the company, we just changed the name recently from GCX to Terra Metals, and the company was really looking for a core asset that had the potential to deliver, great copper exposure of a large scale, and to be able to, go through the process of value creation from discovery to resource development in the copper space. So, this is the asset, the Dante asset, that was chosen to come in to that company, and that's where the focus is now. Obviously, Tribeca have participated in the recent capital raise. They continue to be supportive of the stock and of the project, of Dante project. And as I said, we have two of the Tribeca people on the board, including Ben Cleary, there, providing advice and support. Now, what do they bring? They bring a huge range of, advisory, networking, and also, capital exposure opportunities for the company, which is uncommon for a junior company of our size. So it provides a great advantage for us, and also some real power there upon, to really ramp things up and develop things upon discovery.
You also mentioned BHP just down the road, and sometimes that can be hard because they're doing a lot of great things, but they just don't tell the market. And you might see it, but can't tell much more than that. Are you constantly looking over the fence to see what they're up to? Because clearly you're hoping for some analogy between what they're doing and what you're hoping to find. And then I suppose in reverse, the question here is, how closely do you think they are watching what you're doing based on the land holding you have and their clear focus on copper?
Well, I know how closely they're watching us, and it is close. We're their neighbour and we're drilling. So they're watching us very closely, and we obviously they're our neighbours, so we talk with them very often. And that's a relationship that we like to look after our neighbours, and we like to communicate with our neighbours regularly and see where we can share synergies and resources where possible, being out in this region. So do we look over the fence? Well, we don't need to because they fly into our tenement. The airstrip's on our ground, so we see them every day as they land on our airstrip and drive down to Nebo Babel. We do go down to Nebo Babel from time to time to the mine site, and every now and again, it's very, very close. So yes, out here we're all fairly close, I would say, and they're our nearest neighbor, and we're landlocked by them.
I always like when the questions come through that are well thought out and clearly people who know what they're talking about. We've got a question here, which we'll just use as the last question. Will you wait for high penetrating AEM surveys before drilling the deeper diamond holes at Cronus?
We're still working out whether it's going to be necessary, because we have geochemical and mineralogical evidence that can be a very, very powerful targeting tool on its own. And it may be the case that airborne EM is not the tool that is suitable for identifying all mineralization styles. It can pick up massive sulphide mineralization, but Nebo Babel down the road is it's a 400 million ton disseminated sulphide body. So you can sometimes see them with airborne EM, not always, and you don't have to rely upon it, but it's an excellent tool, an extra layer of data to provide further confidence in certain targets, but not all. So if from the drilling we see the evidence geochemically and mineralogically, which is like we read the code and it tells us immediately, we know where we are and where we need to put the hole, then waiting for airborne EM is simply not necessary. Hence why we're doing reconnaissance geochemical drilling right now.
Great answer, great company, quality team, and clearly well backed. Exciting times ahead, and we look forward to watching Terra Metals and its news flow with interest. Thomas, thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot, David.